and welcome back to A Couple Books. This is Couple, and today we're going to be doing the anti-TBR tag. But before we get into the tag, I would just like to say that I am sorry for the not consistent uploading of recent. We have had some technical difficulties, but those are all fixed now, and we are now back into the groove of filming, and we should get back to our normally scheduled programming. So with that being said, let us get into today's video, which is the anti-TBR tag. I'm super excited. Let's get going. So, in case you guys did not know, I was tagged oh so gratefully by Frannie for thoughts. Frannie is an amazing booktuber. Please go check her out. Give her subscribe, comment on all of her videos, like everything she has. She's amazing. She's so sweet. She's so kind. And she was gracious enough to honor me with a tag. So I am doing her tag today. It's not her tag. The original tag comes from Nicole and her books, and that is who made the tag. Hers and Frannie's channels will both be down below, so be sure to check them both out and to give them all the love, okay? Let us get into today's video. This is going to be 9 questions, so I'm excited to start them with you right here, right now. So the first question is going to be a popular book everyone loves, but you just really have no interest in reading. So this tag is made to build hate, and I'm okay with that. So please send all the hate down into the comment section. Come be mad with me for my choices. I'm okay with that. With that being said, let me show you my first pick for this question. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is a popular book. I see it all over BookTube. Everyone seems to adore it. I just can't get into it. I don't even know how far I read into this. I DNF'd it pretty much right away. Was not a fan. Will definitely not be continuing with the series. I know there's quite a few more out. It's just not gonna happen, people. And this is nothing against Sarah J. Maas. This is just purely about this series and this book in particular. Cindy Reads, I think is the name of her channel, who I will mention down below as well. She described it as just fairy erotica, and honestly, it's hard to disagree with the little bit I did read about it and the few reviews I've watched on it. It's just not my cup of tea, peeps, okay? Sorry. Throw all that hatred you're feeling towards me right now downstairs and we'll talk about it, okay? So with that, let's move on to our next one. The next question is a classic book or author that you just don't have an interest in reading. So that is going to be Dracula, which is a classic, and it's by Bram Stoker. And this is part of my issue. It's not that it's anything with Bram. It's not that it's anything necessarily with his works. It's purely because I just don't do vampires anymore. I've been burnt out, peeps. There's no love in my heart anymore for vampires. Vampire Academy, Twilight, I'm done, okay? It's over. It's over, peeps, okay? It's in the trash can. You know, it's like things that we don't say anymore in 2021. I can now deem that also I think vampires are 2020, leave it in the previous year. That's how I feel about Dracula. I just, maybe things will change, but at the moment, I just have no interest in reading about vampires, even though it's where it all, really starts. Just sorry to disappoint, y'all. The next one is an author that you just have no interest in reading, and this is going to be a surprise, I think, to a few of you, but that's going to be Neil Gaiman. And this is not for lack of trying. I just don't have an interest in his books. I don't know what it is. I try, and I know he's super popular, and I read the back of his books, and I'm super engaged. I just don't vibe with his writing style for whatever the reason is. I just I got Neverwhere here. This was my first Neil Gaiman book. I DNF'd it really early on, and I was like, I'm gonna try out American Gods. I hear that's really good. I picked it up, did not like it. I just don't vibe with his writing style in the slightest bit. That's unfortunate for me, because I wish I could love his books as so many people do, but what are you gonna do when they come for you, bad boys, bad boys? The next one, number 4, is a problematic author that you have no interest in reading. So, for me, I have 2 on here. And that's because I'm going to kind of cheat, so apologies. The first one is going to be Lovecraft that I'm going to mention because he's just a venomous racist. Everyone who knows Lovecraft knows that this is fact. He was a racist. Everyone knew he was a racist. It's not like it's recent news or breaking news or anything. And I've recently gotten into horror, as you guys know, and with that I've started picking up a lot of Lovecraftian elements. So before getting into horror and seeing a lot of these things that have been impacted by Lovecraft, I would never have even thought about picking up his stuff. So I'm considering giving him a shot. I have one of his books and I've considered reading it. The next author I have for you guys is Roald Dahl. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but bit. He's the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and a few other books. He is another author that I'll probably never pick up. He's deceased now, but one of my main issues is that he was a venomous anti-Semite. For me, I just have never had an interest in reading any of his works, so that coupled with the fact that he was a venomous anti-Semite really makes it easy for me just to be like, I just don't care enough to read your books, I'm sorry. And I've never, like, nothing I've ever read has been influenced enough by you for me to like really have a interest in it like I have of Lovecraft. So it's complicated. Complicated authors it's a very complicated thing, especially in today's world. So with that, let's move on to the next question. Number 5, an author you have read a couple of books from, but you've decided their books are not for you. So there was quite a few authors to choose from. So I decided to go with the author that I know is going to get the biggest reaction out of y'all. And that is going to be Stephen King. I just can't get into Stephen King. I own so many Stephen King books. I own like half of his Gunslinger series. I also own 11/22/63. I own quite a few other works of his. And I honestly support the guy. Like, I feel like there's a reason why he's the king of modern day horror. He's got a huge fan following. His fans are dedicated. He's an active writer. He's like, the man is talented. There's no doubt about it. I just have no interest in reading his books. They're not for me. I tried. And honestly, like, I would say I'm going to keep trying, which might be the case, but there's so many other amazing authors that are like getting published every single day. There's so many books I have not read that I really do want to read, and there's so much that honestly I don't know even if I read every single minute every single day for like the rest of my life, I don't know if I could ever even get caught up on my own personal backlist of books that I one day want to read. I just think Stephen King's gonna go to the way bottom of that list, and I'm probably never gonna pick him up again unless there's like some weird crazy circumstance that ends up with it. I just don't see myself ever reading Stephen King. So with that, sorry. Next one is number 6. A genre that you have no interest in, or a genre you tried and couldn't get into. That is going to be a very specific genre, and that is going to be historical fiction / romance. Like, historical romance is another way of saying it. I just have no interest in it, mostly because I don't love both of those genres. I don't love historical fiction that much, and I really don't love romance. This year I'm going to try and get into romance more so, and I will, of course, probably read 1 or 2 or 3 historical fiction books this year, as I usually do. But neither genre is my favorite, and both always it's a struggle to get through all of them. I've never like been like someone who like really enjoys either of those genres. I usually read like the standout books that everyone's like, oh my gosh, amazing, and then I'll like read it, and then I'll usually like be disappointed that I didn't spend my time reading another book that I would have rather have read. So will I probably get around to reading any of those genres? Yes, but I will never, probably, never say never, as the wise Bieber said. I will most likely probably not ever read historical romance. It's just combining two things I don't really love. I just don't see myself getting into it. And like, it'd be easy to say like memoirs or something that's like equally as boring to me personally. Not that it's boring to everyone, just boring to me. But there are memoirs and biographies that I do want to read. So like, this is just a solid no-go, not gonna happen, most likely. The next one is number 7, a book that you have bought but will never read. So that is going to be Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. For those who don't know, I read all of the Game of Thrones. I started reading Game of Thrones before it was huge. I started reading Game of Thrones, I think season 1 was when I started. It was like a while ago I started reading Game of Thrones, and I loved it, and I really enjoyed it. And I like watched TV shows through college, and I like had like a friend group that literally our entire social life was just around watching Game of Thrones, and I like loved Game of Thrones TV show and everything. I was dedicated, but now that like with the ending of Game of Thrones and the fact that it's taken so long for the next 2 books in the series to come out from George R.R. Martin and everything, I just don't know if this is a huge priority for me. I started reading this and I really enjoyed it about 100 pages in, but I just put it down and never picked it up again, and I don't think I'm ever going to get around to reading it, to be honest with y'all. Like, if I would unhaul it, except that there's always a chance, but it's a very small chance. Also, it's hardback and a really pretty cover, which is another reason I probably won't unhaul it. I have an issue with abandoning my books. It's a personal struggle. I own like 17 copies of The Golden Compass, which I also surprisingly have only read once, and I've never finished this series, and yet I own like 17 copies of just The Golden Compass. Why? No one knows. I can't answer that. Can you answer that? Can you answer that? No one has answers for us. No one. Okay, number 8. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. That is going to be the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. This is the last one, which is Insurgent. I have absolutely zero interest. I know what it's about mostly because I watched the movie trailer, and I think I slept through about 75% of the movie, so I have like retained that much knowledge. I have a basic premise about what it's about. Just doesn't click with me. You know, I was on the whole dystopian boat with everyone else. Read Hunger Games, was like, yeah, dystopian my jam. And then it wasn't my jam. And this is not gonna ever, no, sorry. So with that being said, now let's get into the final question, which is a new release you have no interest in reading. This one, I did a little research because I just didn't want to throw a random one out there. I wanted to find one that particularly I know I would never read. And I'm going to say this because this is an odd book. I've never heard of this author before. I honestly never even knew about this book at all or heard anything about it until I started doing some research. This is an anticipated release for some people, I'm sure. It is literally the antithesis of anticipated releases for me. I will never look this up and I will never look into buying it. So with that, let me tell you what it is. It is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. You know the little description on the back of the book? I'm just going to give you the first line, and that will sum up why I'm never going to read this book. Sorry, did someone say Dracula Brides? Nope, done. That's it. That's all I needed to know. Dracula Brides? Nope, done. We're not doing the vampire thing right now. I'm done with the vampire thing. I read Twilight, read Vampire Academy. I watched the other TV show, the originals, whatever it's called. Vampire Diaries, that's what it's called. I just have no interest. It's not gonna happen, peeps. I'm sorry. I'm done with vampires. I really am. I'm tired of it. They don't sparkle. They don't sparkle. I don't know what to tell you. You know, like, I know in Dracula, by Bram Stoker, it doesn't sparkle, but honestly, the second I saw that vampire sparkle, I was done. That was it. No more. No bueno for me. So with that, that is going to be the end of this TBR list. Before I let you guys go, let's throw out some tags. So who I'm going to be tagging is going to be the following. Manda May. Manda May does a lot of wonderful videos I really enjoy. We are pretty much on the same boat in terms of like genres and everything like that, but she's read some books I haven't read, and she's a great joy to watch. I highly recommend checking out her channel, and as well giving her lots of love and subscribes, likes, and comments. So the next is going to be Books of Ange. Ange and I are like on the same like brain wavelength when it comes to like books and stuff. So as well, highly recommend you guys check out her channel as well. Then we have Kevin Rother. I love Kevin a lot. Kevin is my dude. Kevin does really cool stuff on his channel. He does like reads the first chapter, and then he does like what he thinks is going to happen. What's a word for that? You would think I would know what the word is for that. He would predict what's going to happen off the first chapter. So I really enjoy that. He's right now reading Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. So go check his channel out. Then we have Verity Books. Verity Books is amazing. We started around the same time, and so I've been watching her grow, and it's so much fun seeing another fellow booktuber grow. She does amazing stuff. I think it was last week she did a nice live show all around vampires in Vampire Academy. So we might disagree on this one point about vampires, but definitely go check out her channel. Alright, so those are the 4 booktubers that I've tagged to do the Anti-TBR Book Tag. I look forward to their videos if they have the time to do it. No pressure, of course. As well, if anyone wants to do this tag and has not had the chance yet or has not been tagged to do it, please use this as your opportunity and your invite to do it. I would highly encourage you to do it. This is an open invite. Spread the love. Everyone do this tag if you feel like you want to. So with that being said, that is the end of today's video, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one very soon. Okay, bye now.